the Dams and Homes Dynamite Baits Over 50s Festival. The man in shot now is, I'm going to say, rapidly becoming my favourite to win this festival. He's having a colossal run of fish shallow. If he catches us quickly, folks, in the next 10 minutes, as he has in the last, then you guys are in for an absolute treat, because despite this weather, this horrible weather, he's absolutely bagging up. So, just to give you a rundown on how things are going out here and what I've just seen. I mean, Mick's catching great big F1s. He's fishing about 9 metres out. He's fishing caster shallow. He's actually just got up to fetch another keep net from the van and put it in the water. He says he's got 40 pound in his other nets, and he's put another net in. So I think he's well on course for a big ton plus weight today. And that will prove very, very useful for him, because this 5 anglers tied on a perfect 2-point score. Of those, Mick is currently lying in 3rd position, but he's £10 3 ounce behind the leader. The leader, of course, is Steve Daly. Now, although Steve was catching on the other side of the lake, I don't think he was catching as quickly as Mick is here. So my money is on Mick to take the lead here and potentially beat Steve. I also think he'll end with a perfect 3-point score, but I think Mick could well beat him on weight count back. Let's just have a look at how quickly these bites are coming, folks, unless I do my usual and curse it with the camera. Quite literally within seconds of his rig touching the water, there's an F1 hybrid on the hook. Now, let me just zoom out again for you, folks. There you are. Mick is putting in a magnificent performance, and a great stamper fish too. Like fish probably averaging well over £2. Really is a joy to watch. White hydroelastic there. Look at that. That must be a £2 to £3 fish, and these are the ones he's been having. So a real treat to watch, to be honest with you. I don't know what else to say, folks. Just absolutely magnificent. Looking tactics-wise, I'm saying on overshotted rig around about, I'm going to say he's probably fairly deep there. I think it might be sort of 16 or 18 inches deep. Andy Sinky saying it looks rather damp here. Just a bit, pal. Just a bit. Very damp. In fact, let me show you. Very damp. The only thing, it's taking a little while to get back in the water every time. So whether he's got cold hands or fiddling a bit with his bands, I'm not sure. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes just that natural pause between landing a fish and getting back in just gives them a chance to regroup and get the confidence back up. I mean, look at that. Wow. Wow. What an incredible day's fishing Mick is having here at Tunnelbarn Farm. I think he could be on actually to do a little bit of a clean sweep. I think he might. If it carries on like this, he'll probably win the festival. He may even win the biggest weight of the week, to be honest with you. He might take everything out. Look at that. Beautiful stamp fish. I couldn't see. When he got up for his extra net, I wasn't sure whether it was a second net or a third net, should I say, or a fourth net. If it's a fourth net and he's got £40 in each, he's got over 120 already. It's an absolute joy to watch, though. Brilliant display of angling. Andy Sinsky again says, pesky ducks. Honestly, mate, you know when it's like this, they're great. I don't mind having them in peg one little bit. I think they give the fish confidence. I've had some brilliant days shallow fishing when the ducks have been around the pole tip. I think it's almost like if there's wildlife there, the fish assume there can't be anglers there. So you get some ducks mopping up the odd castor or whatever, the odd maggot skin or whatever's in your bait, and there we are. Oh, it's come off that one. I know what you mean though, Andy. I think we've all had it where they are a pain in the bum, and I've actually accidentally upped a couple on occasion, which is never good. Can't weigh them in. So looking down the lake, I mean, Steve Parry's catching fish. He's not catching anywhere near as well as Mick here, though. Mick's really turning on the charm here today. Let's get back on that little pole tip. It's just something so nice, isn't there, about watching it going under with the fish as that elastic rips out. Tell you what, Mick is brilliant at, and this is one of the reasons he's catching so well. It's that nice, accurate grouping of the loose feed. Did you see that? Quite literally tickling his pole tip every time. And obviously, it's easy at close range. That's probably why he's fishing 9 metres rather than going any further. No point going further than you need to. Oh, that's a big F1. Look at that. Look at that. What a performance. Interestingly, he's got the Arity Pro pole, I notice. Mick has, which is actually the prize for the biggest weight of the week on the Daiwa Pole Fishing Masters last year. Lovely piece of kit. Although, I have to say, at 9 metres, I think most poles would perform admirably, to be fair. Again, yeah, somebody asking what bait he's using. It is casters, and he's got on there. Banded caster on the hook, I believe, or one of the hook. Loose feeding casters. Keeping that bait nice and tight. Our feathered friends just helping to. Andrew Man says mouth watering. Mouth watering, love. Are you fishing the Masters this year, Andy? Hope to see you on it, mate. Andy, of course, one of the best young anglers in the country. I say young in a broad sense. He's about my age, which is youngish, folks. You know, we're still not old enough to fish this festival. We're not 50 yet, are we, Paul? Oh, yeah. I don't know about the longest he's waited, I think. 10 seconds for a bite. Again, it's that work rate, folks. I've mentioned it every time I've been filming this sort of overshotting. And now this is interesting. He's coming back. Now, what's he doing? He's doing something. He's getting something out of the cool box. Probably stopping for a mid-match snack. I think he could probably afford to if he's catching that quick. Oh no, it's more shells. More shells. More nets needed. More shells. He's having quite the day. Oh, he's back out. So no problem with the bait. So let's see. I only waited about 12 seconds, 15 seconds and didn't get one and came back. So what's the odds he gets one in under 10 seconds, do you think, folks? Again, you know, a lot of people think, I get a lot of very good anglers on the channel who understand what they're watching and stuff like this. I do get a few, I think maybe get the wrong end of the stick and say, you know, it's easy this, or it's a hook a duck, or it's simple. It isn't, folks. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And I'll tell you a few examples. Like the accuracy of feeding with a catapult is very, very difficult to do, as well as he's doing it. I think it's the regularity of how you move your pole to entice a bite like that. You know, I mean, I see a lot of anglers with this style of fishing who don't work the bait nearly enough. They don't keep that line tight. Exactly, Andy. It's skills, mate. It is. It's certainly not an easy. Oh, bless him. Certainly not. Certainly not as easy as these anglers make it look. It really isn't. And the other thing that I think a lot of people forget is it's the priming of the line. So you watch. He'll feed before he goes back in. He just fed a short line, so he's got somewhere to go and rest this if he needs it. And it's that peg management of always giving yourself somewhere to go and always priming that line so that when you ship out and put your rig in, there's a fish there waiting for you. And obviously you've got to get that balance right. You know, sometimes you as well being a bit quicker and getting out there and feeding if the fishing's good enough, or if the fishing goes tricky, as I say. Sometimes it's a case of feeding 2 or 3 times while your rig's not in the water. And then when you do go in, you know, they'll be back on your line waiting for you and you can catch one. It's as multifaceted and technical, I think, as a lot of other kinds of fishing, really. Anyway, we'll watch him catch one more, watch him get towed in one more time, and then we're going to sign off. I'm just going to see if Andy Benwell's catching, because I could be wrong, folks, but my guess is this at the moment. This is my final assessment of where we're at with it all, right? I think that Mick Stamp here is on course to be the Dams and Homes Dynamite Baits over 50s festival champion with the way he's catching. I just can't see anybody beating him catching at this rate, you know? If they do, fair play. Now, the caveat to that is Mr. Benwell over on Newport, because if he found some carp, and he was going to have a go for carp and set a pace rig up, if he finds some carp, you know, you could be all of a sudden looking at a much bigger weight, like a 150 plus type weight, which might cause an upset, but the way this is going, I just can't see it, folks. So I think you might well be looking at your new champion. Obviously, I'll keep you posted on that. For now, I'm going to sign off, and I'll bring you another update a little bit later.